Bridging ever closer to the Cheltenham Festival, and this weekend we're going to boost that betting bank. This is the Punters Guide. Frankie and Joel alongside me, as always, for the Jumps game. And we start at Kempton. We've got what's going to be a grueler of the Ida as well, and the first ever winter derby to be run at Southwell. I'm going to see if they say Southwell or Southwell. We'll come to that a little later. In fact, no, I'll do it now. Boys, Southwell or Southwell? Where are we?
Depends who you're speaking to. So if you speak to Hayley Turner, it's Southwell. And if you're speaking to a punter, it's Southwell.
The locals is Southwell, everyone else is Southwell.
That's the way I see it.
I think I say Southwell until I'm reading it, and then I end up saying Southwell sometimes because I just say what I see.
It's the great divide. Right, Roy Walker. It's the great divide. Say what you say.
What's Mr. Chips doing?
Tell you what, more importantly, what's going to win the winter derby? We'll come on to that. We're going to start at Kempton. I suppose we've got a final couple of trials out of the festival with the Dovecote and the Adonis. Not sure if anything will come from them. We're going to start with a handicap at 115, 2.5 mile over the Lanzarote course and distance. With 4 places each way, 15 set to go to post. And Joel thinks they may have the same horse here. What are we going to go for, Joel?
Well, I think a couple of the races this weekend all depend on if Jericho de Repene is any good. That's what we're looking at. And again, I spent a lot of time yesterday because I was at a loose end waiting for the missus and kids to come and pick me up because I need a carer. And this horse was 14-1 yesterday, and it's Sea Invasion on handicap debut for Chris Gordon and Rex Dingle. Now, I can't remember the last time Chris Gordon was in half-decent form, but last couple of weeks, I think he's, 42%, 5 from 12. And I was watching back a lot of the races here. Second to Slade Steel and point-to-point debut in Ireland. Obviously, really good horse now with Bromhead. 7 then second to Ballyburn at DRF. A winner of a Grade 2 at Navan. And then going back to that Jericho de Repene form at Newbury, 5 lengths third to that. And 5 lengths fourth to Caught in the Act at Kempton. Lightweight of 10-2. I thought I'd picked one out here yesterday at 14-1. And here we go. And I think it's about 5-1 this morning. So a bit gutted. I backed it on the Thursday.
To pound wrong, it was interesting all the support that's come for it right down the bottom. And, well, lightweight's maybe the way to go on heavy or softer ground this weekend, Frankie.
Not for me in this. I'm going for top weight.
Whoa!
Do you know what I did yesterday? I never ever listened to any other kind of podcast for Saturday selections. Why would you when you've got this one to listen to? I never do. But last night I had a flick for a few on Twitter and we'll listen to what people say. And I wish I didn't, because once you start hearing what other people have said, one, it kind of puts you either in that direction, or for me, I feel like I can't follow what they've said, because otherwise you're just regurgitating what someone else has done, even if they have made a good case. So I'm not doing that again, and I'm not putting Sea Invasion up for that reason, because every man and their dog seemed to put it up last night. Hence why I might have shortened. So I'm going for Pentland Hills, who is top weight. Freddie Gingell will take off that valuable 5. I was with him last week with Irish Hill. He managed to sneak in the places at 8-1. I think he might again. He's had an unusual career over fences and then back over hurdles, but what I'm looking at is his second last time out. I think it was a good performance. He has got to carry loads of weight on heavy ground, but Freddie takes off 5, which for me puts him in the mixer, and a repeat performance of what he did last time out should get him in the frame.
He's coming to be one of your favourite jockeys, isn't he? Every
I know,
week.
I know.
Yeah, they've got me on the Lucy Turner, Lily Pinction, and Sam Twiston Davis. You got Matt, who backs everything that John Joe Jr. rides, and
Charlie Deutsch and Freddie Gingell for me.
Yeah, that's
Gingell,
the one.
sorry, not Jingle.
Which is absolutely fantastic, but it's Freddie Gordon who's riding.
Oh God! See, I like him that much. I've just seen Freddie G, and I'm like, that'll do for me. I'll back that.
Which is interesting because obviously he's Chris's lad, who joins the invasion right down the bottom.
Yeah, it might be. If it gets into a battle between Sea Invasion and Pentland Hills, then who knows? But oh well. So I mean, yeah, Freddie Gingell's a great jockey, but he's not riding Pentland Hills. However, Freddie Gordon takes off a valuable 5.
Do you rate him the same way as you do the other Freddie?
No, Freddie's the top claimer at the moment, but Freddie Gordon will do a good job.
Brilliant. Nick Anderson got the top 3. I think no one Joe. Did he run in this last year before going to the Mine Pipe? He's won it a couple of times, Nick Anderson. So let's move on to the Adonis then. This is the race that Paul Nicholls got a really good record in. And it looks like he's going to extend it because you've got Caliph de Belay, the odds on favourite. He was impressive over track and trip 6 weeks ago, Frankie.
Yeah, I think you keep this one simple. Well, I mean, there's definitely a case to be made for Give Me Five. It's the master against the apprentice, isn't it, with Paul Nicholls and Harry Derham? I just really like it when one of Paul Nicholls' good talked about horses performs as good as you think they will on day, or maybe outperforms what you think on debut, because they always get better. He's not a trainer to have one that, you know, they're trying and they're completely off for their first run. It usually takes them 1 or 2 runs to get going. So the fact that he was so good on debut and was well backed into 4 to 5 on the day and won nicely over course and distance, I think you're going to see an even better horse here. And the fact that they went to Kempton on debut probably suggests that this was the target in mind for a long time. So yeah, I think keep it simple. I know he jumps slightly left-handed, but I reckon he's just better class than the field.
Yeah, it's Harry Cobden on board as well, not Harry Skelton. Give Me Five, interesting one, owned by Graham McDowell and Brooks Koepka, the golfers, amongst others. Paul Nicholls also got Swift Hawk, an impressive Taunton winner. And there's Peking Opera of Gary Moores, who obviously was 4th in an Irish Derby when trained by Aidan O'Brien. So he's not going to go all his own way, Joel, Cal after Bill A. He's got to be pretty smart to land the odds.
I think this is banker material of the weekend. If there's a shorty out there, from France, he's a big lad as well, and a few years' time I'm backing him for the Gold Cup if he stays fit. I know we're looking already to a few years down the line. Like Frankie said, I had a tendency to jump left Kempton on his British debut, but I just think he was bored and he was given £8 for the rest of the field. That Yellow Star, who came 3rd, has won since. Cara de Joie, is it? Was 5th. That's won since at Market Raisin. Just looked pretty decent to me. But popping along, you know, jumped left a couple of times. He was just bored. Ears pricked. I think it's banker material. I think if you get anywhere around even money short or tips on, I think it'll go off 8 to 13. I really do think this is a really good one for the weekend.
There we are then. Good one, Caltabile banker material. Let's move on to the Pendle. 227. No, I don't know, it could be 225. We've got Grado went in Le Patron, who's got a penalty. Blow Your Wad won here the handicap on Boxing Day, and you got Arclight on a 4-timer in against the boys though for Nicky Henderson, and then you got Tamuras for Paul Nicholls, who was a good winner at Aintree a couple of starts ago. Only the 6 going. I wouldn't say it's more of a Turner's trial. Maybe these looking more towards Aintree, Joel.
Yeah, all Aintree, I think. Tamuras has been the one that's come in for money. I'd put in brackets yesterday. It's a shocking race, isn't it? Is it grade 2? It's a grade 2. If something came over from Ireland for this, you know, it's a Willie 18 string, and I mean, look, I went for Pembroke just on, you know, this is not. I wouldn't even bet in the race, to be fair. You know, the best form is probably the walkover at Warwick. Got that done nicely. Or the 8-length third to JPR1 at Lingfield. Look, it was hampered at the first. Race was over. It's a non-bet race for me, but a little bit of play between you two lads. I'd put up Pembroke, but wouldn't be seeing any of my money in a shocking grade 2 this weekend there.
Shocking grade 2 does feature a grade 1 winner though, Frankie, at the top, the Patron.
Yeah, I couldn't really make my mind up here. If you want the truth, I think Tamuras will probably win. But to go through the card and put up as many favourites as I might today, I was really scratching my head trying to find out what else might win. And that would be Le Patron, who is a grade 1 winner, like you said, and was rapidly improving and at a right-handed track in Sandown. And maybe last time you could excuse him because Nickelback actually got all of the horses in that race in trouble for going a really fast pace and jumping really well. Hermes Allen, who we sadly lost, he's a grade 1 horse. He was tired, I think, behind Nickelback. And so are a couple of the others. So if you can put a line through the last run because Nickelback just, you know, got them all beat from his brilliant jumping, then the Patron with Dave Noonan back on board, definitely in with a chance. But you mentioned it's not a Turner's trial. There's plenty of Turner's candidate forms that tie in with Tamuras' last run behind Creberly and Trelawn, and they've run against Ginny's Destiny and Grey Dawning. And I wonder, are they just a bracket above the likes of Le Patron? So I think Tamuras will win.
Tamuras then to win the Pendle. Move on to the Dovecote then, which is the last supreme trial, but not sure any of these will be attacking the likes of Ballyburn, Mystical Power, Tully Hill, etc., etc. Unless we talk about Secret Squirrel, Joel, your long-range anti-post pick for the Supreme. I thought he was overpriced. It is, and with a chance, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, should have won last time out, and we've talked about this, and nobody was crying. Is it Fireflyer of Nichols?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was it. That was the Nichols horse, which was dedicated to the jockey who passed away, which obviously really sad. So no, I backed him that day. No one was crying over Secret Squirrel getting binned. I thought it was overpriced, but I think this comes down to the Jericho Repene form once again that Frankie gave us before the horse was even born. It just depends whether this horse is as good as we think, because Lump Sum, I don't know if you've watched that race back, was a length and a quarter behind Jericho de Repene, Lump Sum. And he was never put into the race until really late on by Tom Cannon. And at no point did you think it was even getting any closer than it did. Did well to get as close as he did. Tom Cannon off, Sam Twiston-Davies back on. And I had it between Lump Sum and Secret Squirrel. I'll be having Lump Sum to win and Secret Squirrel to finish second. No word from Sam Thomas apart from they love this horse. You can tell from where it's been placed.
Horse is going well as well. Back in third in that race at Donny was Fiercely Proud. There's probably no hotter trainer right now, Frankie, than Ben Pauling.
I know, and I was thinking along those lines, if there was ever a horse that might have a little bit more improvement than the others in the field, then Fiercely Proud would probably be that horse off the back of trainer form and jockey form. However, I still think Lump Sum's the better hurdler. Fiercely Proud's a big horse, is arguably slightly more exposed, has had a couple of more races than Lump Sum. Lump Sum has been won at 2 to 5, won at 1 to 4, and then was second to Jericho de Repene. And for me, the difference is in how they take their hurdles. Lump Sum is super quick over his hurdles. Fiercely Proud's a bit bigger and a bit slower. So when you go and watch a couple of those, both of their races back, particularly the race before the one behind Jericho de Repene for Lump Sum, he's really good over his hurdles, and I think that could be the difference in the closing stages.
Interesting, then, yeah, some big chances. Sam Thomas is in fine form. Let's talk about the Coral Trophy, Racing Post Chase, as it used to be, and Sam Thomas again in with a chance. This prize has gone to Wales the last 2 years. Sam Thomas last year, and obviously Captain North Gush Running was 2 years ago. He's back for more, but he was a little bit disappointed at Doncaster when we saw him. And we've got course and distance winner Phlegmatic, who hopefully can trump the frankly Chianti Classico form, Frankie.
Yeah, it'd be good for you, wouldn't it? I mean, Phlegmatics, you're kind of seeing these specialists in here, but I wonder, does he want slightly quicker ground? I actually really like one in here. We could be talking Nap territory with Tweed Skirt, who's a course and distance winner and a very good course and distance winner as well. She picked up really nicely between the last 2 fences and was flying down to the last fence. I think there was a lot in hand that day, and obviously got hiked up in the weights for it before having a spin over hurdles in a grade 2 behind Marie's Rock, and ran well there as well. And did they go there to have a crack at the race? Yeah, I suppose, but they had Marie's Rock in there, so probably protecting the mark to come back here. And I think she looked very good over fences here last time, and will be in with a solid chance. Can't see her out of the places if she puts a similar performance in.
Tweed Skirt then for Joel. Colin Tizard had a good record of this.
I am Joel. You're right. That's Frankie.
We're all after today, aren't we? Ready?
All right.
Sorry. Anyway, I was right with the point. Colin Tizard has won this race a couple of times in recent years, and Joe's got Killer Kane, who was 5th in the race last year off the same mark. He's on a win-dot recently. He was half interesting, but it's one of those races just wide open with 4 places each way, Joel.
Yeah, I like one in here. Again, should have backed it yesterday. It was about 14s, maybe about 9s now. Blackjack Magic won the Badger Beers, beating 300 through 5, who won at the weekend after I said it couldn't possibly win. There was 2 high in the handicap. Blackjack Magic was only £6 risen for that. 4th in Silver Cup at Ascot. It would have been 2nd, but smashed the last. You saw that. Yeah Man was 2nd, who won at the weekend. Phlegmatic won at Kempton on January the 13th. That was back in 3rd there. And the winner, Victorino, who was 4th, 4.5 lengths behind it. Right, Venetia's just it's just not happening, is it? Not happening for Venetia at the minute. I thought Blackjack Magic, Sam Twiston-Davies on board. First time blinkers, I don't really understand. But if it's a positive, then it's a tick in the box. Blackjack Magic all stacks up for me with the best jockey riding at the moment by Harry Cobden.
There we are then. For Joel in the Coral Trophy. Right. One race that is going to take some getting, isn't it? It's the Ida. It's the third longest race in the calendar on heavy ground at Newcastle. We have got a field of 13 heading to post. It's going to take about 3 days to run, I think, Joel. It's going to be slow motion stuff in the finish, if many get home.
Yeah, I think I'll do the big shop, and there might be even a queue at Lidl or Aldi or wherever I go. You know, and I'll still get back for the last circuit. Another one for money, and we talked about this earlier. I really like Flower of Scotland in this. Won the Borders National by 6 lengths now for 120. Sally Thompson, 31% strike rate last couple of weeks. Got form at this trip. Third in the Edinburgh National. Pulled up last time, but the trip was far too short, and I don't think looked like he was out for anything more than a little sesh that day. So Flower of Scotland in the Ida. I do like these long races, unless something falls or isn't going win the first circuit. I do like him because anything can happen. It's a bit like Grand National type, isn't it? I suppose it is, isn't it? Flower of Scotland though for me.
Flower of Scotland then for Joel. Yeah, it's only a furlong shorter than the big one.
Yeah.
South at Aintree. Frankie?
Might have two goes at it in a 4 miler.
Oh, yeah.
Will you give me that? The Galloping Bear I thought was the obvious place to start. Second in the race last year to Kitty's Light, who couldn't be trained better or weighted better for the race. So to come second to Kitty's Light on that day, off the same mark that will go off this year, puts him well in with a chance, and has done it on heavy ground previously. One of them was disqualified, but was still first past the post. So there is a good bit of heavy ground form if you go and look back. So I think the Galloping Bear will be in with a great chance. And then an interesting one, Major Dundee. If you look at how he's been campaigned, the 21-22 season, he ran 3 times over around 3 miles before coming third in the Scottish National. 22-23 season ran twice over 3 miles before winning the Midlands National. And then this year he's ran 3 times already, pulled up in the Warwick Classic Chase, and now has been stepped up in trip for this. I would have thought the Midlands National would have been the target again, because he seems to be at his best that time of year. But why have 3 runs and then have a crack at such a slog like this if he wasn't trying? And there's been a little bit of money. So Major Dundee, I do think it's interesting.
Interesting, yeah. So he already won a Midlands National, hasn't he? Likes these has form on these marathon trips. Right, Southwell, Southwell, however you like to say it. The Winter Derby, the first ever time it's been run at Southwell, £100,000 up for grabs. And bona fide Group 1 horse here in Lord North. I thought he was going to take a world of beating. Won it last year, beating Terrenian Seed by 3 lengths at Lingfield. He's not been seen since winning a second Group 1 Dubai duty free at Maidan. And I know, Frankie, you concur.
I do. There's absolutely no issues about him coming here from a break, because he's done it and been trained for the race the last 2 years. Just second the year before, won it last year. He's got, £10 or so in the ratings on the rest of the field. He showed no signs of slowing down, as you said, winning last time in a good race, and nothing in the race that should bother him, really. Obviously, you can make arguments for a couple of others. They've got match fitness, even course and distance form, but there's no worry with Lord North because he's came here from a break the last twice. Doesn't really excite me, if I'm honest, this race. I don't even know if I'll watch it at the weekend, but I think Lord North will win.
No edges in the way. No edges for them to jump. So, is there an up band for Lord North?
No, it's not, and it makes me so sad that.
Oh, come on!
No, I really don't think so. It makes me really sad that this is worth 100 grand. You know, and you see some people ploughing around 17 circuits.
I was going to say, what do they get for the Ida? Yeah, 41 grand to the winner. So.
After that, I mean, it's different world, isn't it? Different world. If this was in France as well, it'd be worth about $500,000. I was taking a flyer in. You can both shoot me down with Aidan, who we haven't seen for a couple of years. But you look at that 2,000 guineas form in 2022 with Caribus, who sadly passed in fatally injured in France. Native Trail second. Luxembourg third, who was just that far away in the Hong Kong Cup. Were you there that day? Because was Frankie there?
Hang on, let me go get my Hong Kong cap on a sec.
Yeah. A big race on a foreign land. If so, Frankie was there.
Yeah, of course it was. So I just Native Trail, Luxembourg there, 2 years off. And again, shoot me down if you don't agree, but I believe a trainer upgrade and a jockey upgrade to Andrew Balding and Kevin Stott. Look, we're risking fitness, about 6-1. I looked at it and I thought, look, I know you're going to pick Lord North. I was looking for some value, and if this horse retains any ability and is fit, I thought, Aidan, you've got to have a go.
He is the interesting one off that massive layoff. That form was sensational, wasn't it? So it's a worry I haven't been seeing him since, but vibes are quite positive from the yard, and hopefully he can go well. I just think he's got a bit to prove, and Lord North is a standard bearer in this contest. I'm guessing your nap isn't at Southwell then this weekend. Joel, what's your best bet of the weekend?
You'd see Lady Amateur Riders whipless race at Southwell, Southern. Well, I could go shorty, or I could go. Do you know what? I'm going to go Blackjack Magic. Blackjack Magic this weekend.
In thinking for the difficult race, Frankie, what's your nap of the weekend, please?
We're taking each other on in the same race. Tweed Skirt. Go and watch when she won at Kempton last time over fences. She was super, and then has only ran very well over hurdles since. And I think Mr. Henderson, I put a couple of his horses up. He likes to get things just bubbling over before the festival, doesn't he? I think he's going to come into a bit of form this weekend, hopefully before the big guns go to Cheltenham. He was in good spirits on his press day, it seemed, and I think that might be because all things are going well.
Is any money come for Shishkin? Because he's been, I didn't know if he'd had a couple or whatever, but he was very much like, the way I read it and the way you see it, he was trying to put me onto Shishkin. You know what I mean?
He was, I suppose just saying he was trying to give a bit of banter, wasn't he, to Willie? But yeah, it seems like he's been very positive about the team that he's sending to Cheltenham, hasn't he?
Yeah. Well, what Constitution Hill run?
Did we get any vibes about Connie Hill? Is he running? Is he fit?
Is he alive?
In rude health. He won't be beat. That's something that I just can't, on any preview night, let's not spend too long on Constitution Hill versus State Man and Al Fabiola versus John Bond, because there was 10 lengths between both last year. I can't see either reversed. And they're like the big talking points. Anyway, that's Monday's show, isn't it?
No, that is Monday's. It's Monday's show. And I was trying to think as well, because I was at the Grand National Weights do on Tuesday. I'm still recovering from that. And I did have a fairly long conversation with Rich Ritchie. I just cannot remember what he said. I remember talking about Mr. Policeman, but I just can't remember anything he said to me.
It had nothing to do with the horse, though. It's because you're outside decent exposure or something.
Yeah, and you're looking back in your camera roll going, I genuinely don't remember speaking to Lucinda Russell. And I've got a picture with her. I have no idea.
You sent it to us.
Yeah, I know. I've got no idea.
Oh, always the best ones.
What's your nap?
Do you know, we haven't talked about it. Is it Southwell? It's Diligent Harry in the first. 6-10 on the all-weather. Won at Lingfield last time out. Clive Cox in good form. He's about 72-4-1. And Clarendon House, I think, is far too short. Definitely worth taking on. So Diligent Harry for me in the first at Southwell. Right, don't forget, join us Road to Cheltenham on Monday. Get your stuff into Frankie or Joel on any of their social media pages and tell them what you think will win at Cheltenham, what you think was worth taking on, what you don't like. We'll pick apart those on Mondays. Please do it, because we've got not a lot to talk about on Monday, reflecting on this weekend. But I tell you what, we will start looking at some of those handicaps with the entries coming in last week. Stick with us, though. We've got Jason Weaver coming up next, because we're going to talk about him with Southwell and Riyadh this weekend. Frankie, why are you in Riyadh?
Well, I'm Riyadh. Good question. I'll tell you what, a family wedding. So, some things I've got to give.
Did you get offered the gig at Riyadh?
No.
The star has fallen. Right, no Riyadh for Frankie. Joel, Jason Weaver's thoughts on that and the Winter Derby at Southwell, surely. But join us Monday for the Road to Cheltenham. Do not forget. Right, if you're back in this weekend, the very best of luck. Well, here he is. He's back, Jason Weaver. The flat is on show this weekend. Got a brilliant card. I'm going to ask you, actually, the question I ask everyone. Southwell or Southwell?
I don't know. I always say Southwell, but if I'm in the company of Simon Mapletoft, you have to say Southwell. So I don't know. Listen, what a great little venue. Obviously, the extended trip for the Winter Derby this time around. I think it was back in 98 or something like that when it got rolling along and it's gone listed and then up to Group 3. And John Gosden has been dominant, hasn't he? But I think it's a perfect little venue. They're allowing 100 people in tomorrow. That's it, because of all the flood damage.
Yeah, there isn't. I was with Sam Mappletoft on Monday and I got my wrist slapped for mentioning the word Southwell. So you're right. Southwell, certainly when we're in his company. We start with a sprint though, 55 grand up for grabs. Clarendon House has gone to take his form to a new level at Meydan this year, but he's taken on an all-weather specialist in Diligent Harry and a couple of course specialists as well of Higher Mate.
It's an absolute cracker. Look, Diligent Harry, he has made the run in as he did last time. This is a race loaded with natural pace. Big opportunity for John Fahey with all the jockeys dotted around the globe at the moment with the international flavour that we have on the weekend racing. But he doesn't have to make the running, but he's not an easy conveyance, is he, from A to B? Clarendon House stopped the clock in a course record 56.2 the last time he was down here. That's the reason they're coming back over. You've got Diligent Harry carrying the £3 penalty. Thunder Bear carries the £5 penalty. I think it's a straightforward win for Clarendon House, if I'm being honest. Luke Morris, I don't think he'll have to get too bump and kick on this one or whip waving all over the place. And you're right, the horse that you mentioned, I think Clarendon House will win. I've got to roll the dice and have a pound each way on Higher Mate. He stopped the clock in 56.5 when he won down here, carrying 9 stone 11. I think that was really, really good, and he rates a bit of an each-way play.
Good, then their clock on the clock got a chance as well, so he does love it there. Right, the Winter Derby itself then, 100 grand in prize money. Just the 6 is a little bit of a concern, but Lord North back to defend his title, as you mentioned though, over the extended trip.
Yeah, one of the deepest, although not the biggest fields, it has to be said, for the Winter Derby and the extended minor 3. Look, Lord North, what about a multi-millionaire? He wins this and then he goes over to Dubai and he's trying to win that turf race over in Dubai for the 4th consecutive season. That would be remarkable. The trip-wise, we don't know. I think the guaranteed stayer in the lineup is Military Order. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're looking at this and they think the only chance we've got of beating Lord North, Tyrrhenian Sea, very, very quick. He comes home in about 21 seconds over the final quarter mile. So surely a 1.3 miles is going to stretch him around here. And that's the only way that they can really put those horses under pressure. The unknown quantity's got to be Aidan, hasn't it? First run for Balding, off a mammoth layoff. He won the fielding. His sire won the fielding as well, olden times. I think that he will stay. He's completely unexposed, and he's the one who represents a little bit of value in the lineup. Look, Military Order, the nearly horse. Lord North, will he stay? Tyrrhenian Sea, I can't have him staying at all. I think Aidan is the real sleeper in the lineup. Yeah,
he's interesting, isn't he? Off almost 2 years off for Aidan, then first off for Andrew Balding, and they're quite bullish as well about his chances. He won't want for fitness. You mentioned John Fahey and the jockeys, obviously here, there, and everywhere. Riyadh comes under the spotlight this weekend. A huge prize in the Saudi Cup. We've got some old favourites running as well, especially in the 325. It's a long sprint. It's called the sprint, but it's a long sprint, nearly 7 furlongs. Mysterious Night's been carrying on before him at Meydan, but this trip may just suit the Irish raider Matilda Picotte.
Yeah, Matilda Picotte, super little mare, isn't she? She's done remarkably well for the team. Yeah, I think 7 furlongs could be ideal. She operated down at the sprint division as well. She's been fluctuating. You got Bathrat Leon, who managed to win the race last year, went off on the front end. Mysterious Night is a Group 1 winner over in Canada, lost its form, then on home soil all of a sudden has been a rocket ship, but not beating top-class opposition, bound to be punted, I would imagine, towards the top of the market, Mysterious Night. For me, the unknown, if you like, only second try at the distance is Art Power. Now, isn't he the type of horse? They're going to go pot hunting with him now, aren't they? He's a gelding. He managed to win a Group 1. He beat Kinross at the back end at Champions Weekend. He's a phenomenal individual. And I just feel with loads of natural pace in here, David Allen is the key, isn't it? He gets on with him, absolutely brilliant. And for that reason, I think Art Power is definitely going to be overlooked in the market.
Interesting then, yeah. Art Power could be enjoyed. They're going to go around the world, so trying to pick up a few quid here and there. There's plenty on offer here, and there's plenty on offer in the 410, $500,000 over 10 films. The market suggests it's all about Luxembourg. Do you agree?
I think so. If you watch back the run over in Sha Tin, I'm not sure that quick ground is his absolute ideal. You know, he sort of carries himself a little bit awkward and his tail is always stuck out. He looks as if he's not quite resenting it, but he needs a bit of ease in the ground to be at his absolute best. Look, he's a 5-4 shot, somewhere around there. Might even be tighter, I should imagine. I mean, the Foxes, he got beaten in the Winter Derby trial. He comes back down in distance. He's got to be an interesting contender. But I look at his price and he may be just a bit tight for an each-way play. Probably Hearts Concerto. You know, the Japanese, we know how strong they are. Joe Moreira gets on board. He's already proven at Group 1 level back home. He was beaten a neck in the Japanese Derby. He had an ideal prep just on the 14th of January to put him spot on for this. I think with the Magic Man on board, Hearts Concerto at an each-way price against a rock solid Luxembourg.
Cool, brilliant. Right, we've talked about the sprinters, we've got the middle distance, and then we've got the stayers in the Red Sea Turf Handicap. And some of your old favourites in here as well, none other than Gia Valletto going for Marco Botti, and Ashee Murphy gets the leg up.
Yeah, and his star, I think, is still rising. Botti's horses are in tremendous form. Andrea Azzini, because he's over in Hong Kong, he's off. Oshin's on. I don't think you can class that as a bit of a negative. He always struck me, if you think when he was placed in the Betfred St. Ledger, he managed to win at York. He beat the St. Ledger winner on that occasion, Eldar Eldarov. He's got form with the very, very best. Look, he's in a high-class handicap, lumping top weight for a reason. The Japanese are going to be incredibly strong in here. Tower of London, probably going to be overbet because he's a brother to an Irish Derby and St. Ledger winner in Capri, but he doesn't look as if he's as good as him just yet. I'm worried about the Japanese. It's got to be Gia Valletto, of course, for Marco and the team.
Worried about the Japanese, but going with the Italian Gia Valletto then in that the top weight. What would be your strongest bet on the card that we've discussed, or is there anything else that you like the look of this weekend?
Yeah, I think that I often look at the Saudi Cup itself. You know, lots of horses coming in there. For me, the way that National Treasure managed to win the Pegasus last time, he went flat out and still managed to keep on going. He hasn't been fully effective over this distance so far, but there's no reason, if they ride him with just a little bit of restraint, there is no reason whatsoever that he won't see out the distance. You know, it'll be a bit of a talking point, won't it, if Bob Baffert goes and wins, obviously, the big one. But there's every reason to think that National Treasure will take a world of beating in the Saudi Cup. If I look back at the others, I have to say, I think that Aiden, he threatened to be a very, very good horse. He was fourth in a 2,000 guineas. He still has the potential, a slimmer, a potential to be a Group 1 horse. I think Aiden's a surprise package on the weekend.
Yeah, it could go well. So very talented when we last saw him, wasn't he, a couple of years ago? Brilliant. We're easing Jason in. Next month, of course, we've got the Lincoln, and then we're building up to the likes of the Betfred Derby, the Betfred St. Ledger in the flat season. We're looking forward to a brilliant weekend of racing action, jumps and flat, wherever you're back in. The very best of luck.